uptake na yan. So, basically, uptake yan ng T3, okay, ng TBG. So, paano siya ginagawa? So, mag-e-inject ng radioisotope labeled T3 doon sa pasyente. So, I hope alam na ninyo yung radioisotopes, no? Na-discuss na siguro yan sa inyo sa RIA, yung radioimmunoassay. So, somehow, parang ganun lang din naman yung, niyan, system. Okay, so yung T3, labeled yan with radioisotope na ini-inject doon sa patient. So whenever na-inject yan, okay, so pupunta yan sa circulation and then mamimit niya yung TBG sa circulation. So yung TBG class, yan yung thyroxine binding globulin. Isa yan sa mga transport proteins natin ng thyroid hormones. So the main goal of TBG is to bind, no, yung mga circulating thyroid hormones na yan dyan sa circulation para mapunta sila kung saan man sila dapat pumunta. Ngayon, sa T3 uptake class, so since in-inject itong si T3 no, sa pasyente, so magbabind yan doon sa circulating TBG sa katawan ng pasyente. So pag maraming na-bind na T3 doon sa TBG, ibig sabihin maraming TBG. So ano ibig sabihin kapag maraming TBG? Pag maraming TBG, most likely ang interpretation niyan doon sa body ng pasyente, maraming circulating thyroid hormones. Okay, merong hyperthyroidism yung patient. Okay? So, ganun yung niyan, meaning behind. So, kapag konti lang yung TBG sa circulation ng pasyente, ibig sabihin, konti lang din yung T3 na ma-uptake ng TBG kasi konti nga lang yung TBG sa katawan ng pasyente. So, bakit konti yung TBG? Kasi nasa-sense ng body na konti lang din naman yung thyroid hormones na napoproduce. No? So, mag-equate lang din yan. So, kapag konti yung TBG, konti yung ma-uptake na T3, ibig sabihin, merong hypothyroidism yung patient. Okay? So next, another test that can be used is itong reverse T3 used to assess yung thyroid 6 syndrome to which elevated ang kanyang reverse T3. So somehow similar lang din sila ng procedure ni T3 uptake. Medyo ano lang siya, kumbaga parang kabaliktaran. Okay? Then, ito yung common test na pina-perform sa lab to determine hypohyperthyroidism. No, yung total T3, free T3, and free T4. So, ulitin lang natin, no, the main role of T4 or T4 per se is to determine yung secretory status ng thyroid gland. So, kapag okay naman yung amount ng T4, ibig sabihin, nagpa-function ng maayos yung thyroid gland. So, yung synthetic ability niya ay okay. Ngayon, yung T3, para sa yung T3, between T3 and T4 kasi, si T3 yung physiologically active, no? So, since siya yung more physiologically active compared sa T4. So, may activity din yan si T4, pero mas malakas yung effect nito ni T3 sa body natin compared to T4. So, anong ina-assess dito? So, doon nga, ina-assess kung uh, probable merong hyperthyroidism yung pasyente kapag masyadong mataas yung T3. So, T3 and T4 or free T3, total T3, free T4 are mainly used to determine if there is hypo or hyperthyroidism. But before that, usually the doctor is requesting for a screening test. No? So, ano yung screening test na pina-perform? Itong TSH. So, ano yung TSH? Thyroid stimulating hormone that is released by the pituitary gland. Okay, so bakit siya naging screening test? Kasi itong si TSH, parang dalawa na yung maa-assess niyang endocrine organ dyan. Yung pituitary gland, tsaka yung thyroid gland. Okay, so assessment pa lang naman, hindi pa confirmatory or hindi pa conclusive yung interpretation ng results. So for example, nag-request yung doktor ng TSH, no? Ay ang result ng TSH ng pasyente ay mababa. So kung mababa yung TSH, most likely, okay, ang thyroid hormones ng pasyente ay mataas, no? Kasi 'di ba nga, it employs the negative feedback mechanism. So kapag mababa yung TSH, bakit bumababa yung TSH? Baka ano, mataas lang naman ang chance na mataas ang thyroid hormones, kaya mababa yung TSH. Kung ang result naman ng TSH ay mataas, baka mababa naman yung thyroid hormones niya. So kapag ang TSH naman ay normal, so there are no need to do follow-up laboratory testing for T3 and T4 na kasi normal naman yung TSH. Not unless kung merong physical signs and symptoms yung pasyente. Okay, so sa lab, minsan ang nire-request lang dyan ng doktor, TSH lang kasi nga medyo mahal ang hormone panel, no? So TSH lang tas siya ng bahala kung paano niya gagawin yung patient management. Pero merong ibang doktor naman na TSH tsaka thyroid hormones yung nire-request para isahang lang, diagnosis lang. Kumbaga parang hindi blind shot ng patient management in that case. Okay? So aside from that, doctors can also request for TRH. So paano yung TRH stimulation test? Again, class, ang TRH, hindi natin siya pwedeng ma-measure directly, unlike yung TSH tsaka FT3, FT4. Bakit? Kasi ang TRH ay galing sa hypothalamus. Then, yung effect na to, nitong TRH ay diretso na sa pituitary gland. So, there is no need for TRH to circulate anymore in the body kasi magkalapit lang naman ang hypothalamus at ang pituitary gland. Okay? So instead of measuring TRH, no, we can do an indirect assessment for TRH. So that is TRH stimulation test. So paano ginagawa yung TRH stimulating test? So kailangan natin i-measure yung TSH dyan. Indirect measurement ito ng TRH or indirect assessment, no, for TRH. So paano gagawin? So mag-extract muna tayong medtech ng dugo for TSH determination. So whatever the result of THS is, yun yung magiging baseline natin. Then after makuha yung result ng TSH baseline, mag-i-inject ng TRH. Yung TRH ngayon should interact with pituitary gland. Okay? So since nag-inject ng TRH, dapat ang result ng TSH ay magiging mataas kasi nga nag-inject ng TRH. So, ibig sabihin, kung yung first extraction ng TSH ay mababa, and then yung second extraction ng TSH ay tumaas, ibig sabihin, the main problem kaya hindi tumataas si TSH is yung secretion ng TRH ni hypothalamus. Yung hypothalamus ang may problema. Okay. If in case naman na ang TSH ay, first extraction ng TSH ay mababa, and then after TRH stimulation, yung TSH ay mababa pa din, meaning to say, yung pituitary gland is not sensitive na doon sa TRH stimulation. So, pwedeng yung hypothalamus nagsisecrete ng TRH, is just that unresponsive na si pituitary gland. Okay? So, kapag unresponsive si pituitary gland, hindi siya magpo-produce ng TSH, thus walang marireceive na message si thyroid gland. So, kung walang na-receive na message si thyroid gland, wala siyang gagawing thyroid hormone. Okay? So, doon na mag-iisip yung doctor kung paano ang patient management dyan. Okay? So, next lab test is thyroglobulin assay. So, again, ang thyroglobulin natin, people, ay natatagpuan yan sa loob ng colloid sa thyroid gland natin. So, if you can remember, yung production ng thyroid hormones, di ba, mag-start yan sa iodine, papasok sa thyroid gland hanggang sa pumunta yan doon sa colloid. Sa colloid, doon mag-i-interact si iodine at si tyrosine to form yung mga thyroid hormones natin. So, mag-start muna yan sa T1, then magiging T2, T3, tsaka T4. Ngayon, para saan ba itong thyroglobulin assay? It is used as a post-operative marker of thyroid cancer. Meaning to say, okay, dyan malalaman kung nagpo-function pa ba yung thyroid gland. No? So, in thyroid cancer kasi, pwedeng radiation yan, pwedeng surgical removal. No? So, kapag surgical removal ng thyroid gland, ibig sabihin, dapat wala ng thyroid gland. So, most likely, ang result ng thyroglobulin ay mababa kasi wala nang magpo-produce ng thyroglobulin. Tandaan, ang thyroglobulin ay nasa loob ng colloid ng thyroid gland. Okay? So, if sabihin natin partial lang yung removal ng thyroid gland, okay, so dapat mayroon pa rin yung thyroglobulin but hindi na siya ganun kataas compared nung meron pang thyroid cancer yung pasyente. So, kapag mataas pa rin yung thyroglobulin, meaning to say meron pang mga cancer cells dyan sa thyroid gland ng patient. Okay? So, ayan, increase hyperthyroidism, decrease for hypothyroidism. So, we're now done with thyroid gland. So, let's proceed with parathyroid hormone. So, parathyroid hormone is synthesized and secreted by the parathyroid gland, to which it is located behind the thyroid gland itself. No, naka-invaginate itong mga parathyroid glands sa thyroid gland. Okay, nandyan siya nakadikit. So, usually, 4 yan. Minsan 6, minsan 2, depende sa tao. Eh, sa iba-iba naman tayo ng ano, iba-iba naman tayo ng anatomy ng katawan. So, yan, dyan siya. Okay, so anong cells ang present sa parathyroid gland? Ang cells na present sa parathyroid gland ay chief cells. So, these chief cells are the ones responsible for the production of parathyroid hormone. To which, etong si parathyroid hormone ay may effect sa calcium homeostasis together with calcitonin. Okay, so calcitonin is a hormone released by the thyroid gland, no? Wala siyang function doon sa overall metabolic processes natin unlike ng mga thyroid hormones. So, the main function of calcitonin is to maintain balance, no, ng calcium together with PTH or parathyroid hormone. So again, PTH is one of the hormones that is responsible in maintaining the normal levels of uh, calcium in the body. So, paano niya ginagawa yon? Okay, paano niya ginagawa yon? So, meron effect kasi itong si PTH sa 3 organs sa body natin, the bone, kidney, and intestine. So, PTH has an effect of bone resorption sa buto, okay, malamang bone resorption na nga. Okay, so kakaskasin niya yan, yung bone to release calcium in the bloodstream. So, another action of PTH is for calcium reabsorption sa kidneys to increase calcium sa blood. And meron siyang indirect action sa ating intestine together with vitamin D3, no, for further absorption of calcium in the intestine. Okay? So, as mentioned a while ago, itong PTH na to, meron siyang mga significant effect sa calcium and vitamin D3. So, let's add another analyte, and that is phosphate, no? So, ano naman ang effect, no, ni PTH sa phosphate. So, i-discuss natin yan sa susunod na slides. So, ito, review lang tayo ng effect ni calcium and phosphate in our body. So, again, calcium has a neuromuscular excitability effect, coagulation, and then transmembrane transport. For phosphate naman, energy storage, nucleic acid, nucleotides, and production of phospholipids naman ang function nito ni phosphate. So, ulitin lang natin. Pagdating sa bone, ang effect ni PTH is bone resorption, to which bine-breakdown niya yung buto to give off calcium doon sa ating bloodstream. So, hindi pwedeng puro bone resorption. Kailangan may balance. That is why si calcitonin na sinisikret ni thyroid gland ang magte-take place dyan. So, siya yung mag-inhibit ng action ni PTH. So, instead of bone resorption, bone deposition naman yung effect ni calcitonin. So, pagdating sa kidneys, anong ginagawa ni PTH? Okay, ang ginagawa ni PTH sa kidneys is for renal reabsorption ng calcium. So, doon sa discussion natin sa electrolytes, di ba? Pagdating sa kidneys, lagi lang yan merong tawag dito, exchange, no? Exchange yan. So, kapag merong ni-reabsorb, dapat merong i-excrete kasi nga yun yung function ni kidney. Okay, so kailangan may exchange dyan. So, kung i-apply natin siya sa ibang electrolytes, di ba, kapag ang nire-absorb ay positively charged, dapat ang ma-excrete ay positively charged as well. To maintain electron neutrality. Pero pagdating dito sa calcium, hindi gano'n ang case, no? Even though calcium is a positively charged ion, kapag nire-absorb siya, ang ma-excrete dyan ay negatively charged ion, that is phosphate. Why is that, no? Why is that? Kasi the main focus of calcium and phosphate is not about electron neutrality, but the balance of salts in the body. Okay, so ito kasing si calcium and phosphate, sila yung major player, no, na maintenance ng salts, no, sa body natin. Salts sa buto, ha. Kasi lahat yan sila, majority sa kanila nasa bone, no, yung calcium tsaka phosphate na yan. So, kailangan pag na-reabsorb si calcium, dapat may ibabawas na salt from the bone, and that is phosphate. So, para hindi naman sobrahan. Okay? So, sa intestine naman, ano naman function ni parathyroid hormone? Ayan, with the help of activated vitamin D3, okay, they will increase the absorption of calcium and phosphate, no, both calcium and phosphate. So, ganun naman yung effect nila sa intestine. So, again, vitamin D3 is available in our skin, no. It is in its inactive form, no. But after sun exposure, magiging activated vitamin D3 na yan. Okay, so ito din yung sinabi ko kanina. Again, si phosphate, inverse ang relationship nila ni calcium pagdating sa kidneys kasi nga they need to maintain the salts, no, doon sa bone natin sa ating body. Whereas pagdating naman sa intestine, no, same sila ng effect, no, same silang na-absorb sa intestine with the help of vitamin D. So calcium and phosphate are absorbed in the intestine with the help of vitamin D. Okay. So, paano ba nasi-synthesize itong si vitamin D? So, with the help of PTH yan. So, PTH will increase the activity of 1-alpha hydroxylase to convert yung inactive form ng vitamin D into active form ng vitamin D. Okay, so kapag naging active form na yan, ayan, increase ng absorption ng calcium and phosphate in the intestine. Okay, so next is the stimulation. Okay, so paano ba na-stimulate ang parathyroid hormone or parathyroid gland? So kapag mayroon decrease serum calcium level. So in this case, hindi tayo nagre-rely sa pituitary gland na stimulating hormones, no? Tsaka sa hypothalamus na regulating or releasing hormones. Dito, mga analytes yung tinitake into consideration natin. So ano-anong mga analytes yun? Calcium, magnesium, and phosphate. So kapag decrease ang calcium, okay, so tataas si PTH malamang. Pag may mild decrease ng magnesium, ganun din. And then kapag increase naman si phosphate, tatandaan si calcium and phosphate ay inversely proportional in terms of kidneys, no? Kidneys reabsorption and excretion. Okay? So inhibitors naman, okay, kapag merong increase calcium levels obviously and then severe decrease ng magnesium. Okay? Okay, so ito na-discuss na natin to sa calcium part ng electrolyte. So hindi ko na yan i-discuss ulit. Same goes with this one. Ayan, na-discuss na natin yan previously. So dito na tayo sa mga disorders. In terms of disorders ng endocrine system class, parehas lang naman sila ng electrolytes, no? So ano lang yung mga sakit dyan? Hypo-hyper lang naman. Okay, so when you say hypo, okay, hypoparathyroidism, in this case, mababa ang PTH. Bakit siya mababa? Mainly because may problema sa parathyroid gland. Either natanggal siya because of surgery, nagkaroon ng idiopathic atrophy, or may autoimmune disorder related to the parathyroid gland destruction. So, ang end result niyan, mababa ang serum calcium level. So, other causes of hypoparathyroidism are the following. So, PTH deficiency, calcium receptor deficiency, rickets, and then osteomalacia. So, anong pinagkapareho ng rickets at osteomalacia? Rickets and osteomalacia are both softening and weakening of the bones, no? Parehas lang yan, malambot ang buto as shown in this image. Because of prolonged vitamin D deficiency. Okay, so kulang ang vitamin D sa sistema. Okay? So, anong pinagkaiba, okay, ng rickets at ng osteomalacia? Ang rickets kasi ay for children, whereas kapag osteomalacia, for adults naman siya. Okay, so parehas lang silang softening and weakening of the bones because of vitamin D deficiency, pero nagkaiba lang sila ng age group. Okay? So, yan. So, meron din tinatawag na pseudohypoparathyroidism. So, when you say pseudohypoparathyroidism, it is the false, low, PTH or false low false low parathyroid hormone. Okay, so bakit nagkakaroon ng false low parathyroid hormone? So, parathyroid hormone is okay naman. It's just that yung receptor sa parathyroid hormone ang problema. So, walang receptor, ibig sabihin low ang serum calcium at saka yung phosphate naman ay mataas, no? Meron din naman tinatawag na pseudo hypoparathyroidism, to which ang problema ay hindi included ang problema ay hindi yung PTH, no? For other reasons, sabihin natin receptor or yung mismong organ to which PTH will interact, ganyan. Pero walang calcium and phosphate abnormalities. Kumbaga parang normal naman yung levels ng mga analytes. Okay? So, kung may hypo, syempre may hyper. So, when you say hyper, mataas ang parathyroid hormone. Okay? Bakit? Mainly because merong tumor. Okay? So, there are 3 types of hyperparathyroidism. Okay? So, for primary hyperparathyroidism, ibig sabihin, yung mismong gland ang merong problema. Baka merong cancer. Okay? So, kung secondary naman, ibig sabihin, ang occurs in response to low calcium levels and usually encountered in vitamin D deficiency or chronic kidney disease. So, hindi problema yung mismong gland, no? So, minsan may problema din yung mismong gland, no, na hindi siya nakakapag-produce siya ng maraming parathyroid hormones kasi merong cancer cell. But, ayan, meron din kasing other causes such as ito nga, vitamin D and then low calcium levels for some reasons, no? Kunyari, sira yung kidney, ganyan. Okay, so pag tertiary naman, in addition yon with the uh, stated symptoms, no? And then conditions of patients with secondary hyperparathyroidism plus yung autonomous function ng parathyroid gland. So, may cancer cells din dyan. Okay? Okay, so in summary, ito lang naman yon yung mga na-discuss natin today. So, naka-table lang siya and same lang din naman yan ng explanation. So, para mas madali lang intindihan kung saan dyan yung decrease, increase ng calcium. Okay? So, next meeting, adrenal gland na tayo. So, if there are no questions and other clarifications,